In September 1952, Charlie Chaplin boarded a ship leaving America for a vacation in Europe. While over the Atlantic, the U.S. government canceled his visa. The man known around the globe as the world's most recognizable entertainer was now effectively locked out of his home of 40 years. He was classified as a national security risk. To see how a silent comedian became an enemy of the state, we have to look past the makeup in the movies. We have to investigate the specific environment that built his style of performance. His approach to comedy didn't come from a place of joy. Every movement and gag was a reaction to the environmental pressures he had faced since childhood. Chaplin's story begins in the freezing streets of London in 1895. He was 6 years old, wearing ragged clothes, and constantly hungry in a city where nobody stopped to help. His father left the family early on. His mother, a stage singer, lost her voice, her income, and eventually her sanity. When the government moved her to a hospital, Chaplin and his brother went to a workhouse, a facility where orphan children labored for sparse meals and hard beds. Inside that institution, Chaplin found a defense mechanism. He started making funny faces and walking strangely. For brief moments, he could make the other starving boys laugh and forget their immediate misery. He found he could control his environment. The Tramp persona was a survival mechanism refined over years of destitution, serving as a shield against the institutional indifference of his youth. By 1914, Chaplin arrived in Los Angeles. The film industry was booming, expanding into a massive, chaotic machine, and at first, Chaplin felt out of place among the cameras and lights. Given 30 minutes to find a funny costume, he walked into a studio dressing room and grabbed mismatched items: a jacket too small, pants too large, big shoes, a tiny hat, and a cane. Stage actors at the time relied on grand gestures to reach the back rows. Chaplin realized the close-up camera required something else. He developed a subtle, silent physical language that could convey complex emotions directly to the lens. The public response was immediate, and his value skyrocketed. Within a single year, his weekly salary shot from $150 to $1,250, plus bonuses. This influx of cash gave the former street orphan a level of leverage that was rare in Hollywood: total creative autonomy over his work. In 1919, Chaplin aligned with stars like Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks to form United Artists. This move bypassed the major studio bosses, allowing the creators to own and distribute their own films. Operating his own studio, he could spend over a year shooting a single picture. He began blending social critique with physical comedy, most notably in The Gold Rush, where he highlights extreme hunger by boiling and eating his own shoe. When the industry pivoted to talkies with synchronized dialogue, Chaplin refused to comply. He shot sitting lights entirely without spoken words, proving his physical acting could still outperform spoken dialogue at the box office. By the 1930s, he was no longer a studio employee. He was a mogul, controlling every aspect of his production and retaining complete ownership of his art. He possessed a direct line of communication to audiences worldwide. A single man holding that much unregulated influence over the public made the political establishment uncomfortable. In 1940, America was actively avoiding involvement in the escalating war in Europe. Powerful domestic political factions favored appeasement over conflict. Chaplin used his resources to produce The Great Dictator. It was a film designed to mock, belittle, and dismantle the fearsome aura of Adolf Hitler. Playing both a Jewish barber and a cruel autocrat, Chaplin ended the picture with an impassioned monologue pleading for global kindness and human freedom. The picture was a success, but it generated powerful enemies. American politicians and newspapers branded him a communist and a traitor to American interests. The U.S. government launched surveillance and investigations into his private life, searching for a legal justification to ruin his reputation and force him out of the country. The same focus on the poor and the marginalized that had won over global audiences now served as the primary evidence in the government's case against him. That surveillance culminated in 1952. While he was over the Atlantic, the government locked him out of the country where he had built his empire. Officials demanded he answer questions regarding his political beliefs before they would reconsider his visa. Chaplin refused to submit to the interrogations, choosing to walk away rather than beg for entry. He left the Hollywood machine. He relocated his family to Switzerland, settling into a quiet life near Lake Geneva. The authorities successfully banished the man from American soil, but they failed to stop audiences from watching his films. 20 years passed. In April 1972, the Academy Awards invited the 83-year-old exile to return to Los Angeles to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. He stepped onto the stage slowly. He was small and thin, with white hair, entirely stripped of the Tramp's costume and the invincibility of his youth. The audience stood up. They clapped for 12 full minutes, the longest standing ovation in the Academy's history, acting as an unspoken apology from the country that had expelled him. By the time of his death in 1977, the man had aged, but the character of the Tramp remained static and recognizable to millions across every continent. A boy from the streets of London took his own suffering and turned it into film. He proved that work rooted in genuine human experience outlasts any political regime.